let's try something new here. We're gonna do a full breakdown. Check, I got the bands on. So I got the short loop bands on for the first round. This is something I'm gonna be using to just kind of prep my body positioning. And I want you to look, as we go through this entire video and break down what I'm working on, and then I'll translate how this applies in different ways. So right now, what I'm focusing on, as you can clearly see, is the jab. But what I'm also utilizing is the tension in the bands to get proper weight distribution, to get proper abductor, adductor, hip engagement, and also just where I'm leaning my weight. If you notice, I'm not leaning too far forward, but I'm getting slightly heavier on my lead leg because it's a jab. But as I switch my stance, I'm going from southpaw to orthodox. You can tell I've spent way more time orthodox just because look at how a little bit more reactive I am, just a little bit faster. And also, I'm going to pause really quick. If you guys like the breakdown style here, not only give me a like, make sure you're subscribing, but let me know in the comments because this is the first one I'm doing in a very, very long time. I got a bunch coming in the works. If you guys like this, let me know. And what I'm working on, again, is just back to the basics, jab. Working the jab, then I'll play with the jab cross. This whole first round was about just getting my body positioning, starting to slowly ramp it up. I did an entire warm-up prior to this. I didn't even show in this breakdown, but this is just about throwing it down the pipe here. Now, on my southpaw side, I notice I do this little thing with my straight where I'll not only shoot it down the pipe, but I kind of want to make sure I'm bringing my hand back up. See what I just did right there? That little like circle loop. Sometimes it looks a little bit awkward. It can be a bit of a tell, but I like doing that because then I can also use that as an advantage to get a read and get a tell as well and be ready to cover. Because I found in an open stance, meaning if I'm southpaw and they're orthodox, there's going to be counters to that open side. Versus here in my orthodox stance, the counter tends to be a jab of their own, so I'm ready to slip and rip it right there, which is what I'm setting up. And I'm just more familiar, as you can tell, like, again, spent way more time in that orthodox. Also, what you'll notice probably throughout these rounds is the headphones I have. I like the JBLs, but, like, I've yet to find a good set of headphones that don't, like, slide and move and rock on me. I'm figuring out strategies for that. We'll get it down. But, again, going back to even the bands here, I like using the bands to help me manage distance. This is something I like working with even young martial artists, boxers, just to get their footwork, get their distancing, and being able to get the weight distribution. This is a little bit more of a boxer kind of drill as far as what I'm throwing with my hands, but realistically, this is even my stance is a bit more open for more Muay Thai, Dutch style kickboxing, so I can check kicks, even though that's not what I'm doing. Just because I have the bands on, felt a little awkward with that. But again, as you can see, staying light on my feet. Now I'm starting to get a little bit less rooted into the ground, which is a little bit less Thai. Thai traditionally tends to be a little bit more rooted, a little bit more back leg heavy, ready to teep and check with the front leg. Here I'm getting a little bit more boxing style, a little bit more Dutch-esque. But I just like being able to switch back and forth. It's something I've been playing with a bit recently, especially because I'm not like sparring a whole lot. I like to just visualize a lot that you'll see as I drill. I'm kind of like thinking about, all right, what are they doing? Visualizing reads, thinking about what also makes sense too, right? And this is the one thing you'll hear me say in almost all my videos when I go into enough depth. Show me the person that hit the body the most in a fight. I'll show you the winner. I challenge you to, in the comments, even let me know of a fight that you think there was a person that hit the body more, but yet they lost the fight on points, or maybe they even got knocked out. Because there's definitely fights out there where someone has gotten knocked out even though they went to the body more. But to me, it's just like putting money away, saving money. It's like paying dividends later. Again, working that jab up, jab down, being able to play with the weight distribution. The thing here to be mindful of is when we're working heavy jabs, here I'm going to take it off, we're going to swap into the next round, is when you're working heavy jabs, though, you can be more susceptible to inside kicks. Uh-oh, the pants came off. Now you can start to feel I'm getting amped up, I'm getting excited. So the bands are off, pants are off, now it's go time. Now we're going to start to put a little bit more of a pace, start to work a little bit more. I'm kind of feeling myself here. It's kind of funny to watch back in hindsight. I want to know what song I was listening to. Oh, yeah. So this is one of my favorite things to do. Tap, tap, and then pop, rip it hard. So speed and power. A lot of times people want to hit hard every single shot. Eventually, it's just too easy to be able to deal with from my experience. But being able to rhythm change, boom, gear shift as it were. Little light, and then rip, bang, bang. So this is a very, to me, traditional, like Thai style, or I'm sorry, a Nate Diaz styled option. Or the Diaz brother-esque. That's not as much of the Thai style with the hands, but even Thai style is like being able to just play, and then go. Especially in the first 2 rounds. And now here, just kind of picking up speed and then pop to the body. Again, I like working that body, man. So I'm just clearly in this round, you can see I'm working a little bit more lighter shots and then hard to the body, hard hooks. Especially in that southpaw, I really like digging the body with the lead hook. I just also, because I feel really powerful there, because my dominant hand, my dominant side. Again, just staying light, moving a little bit. One thing I would like to say is I'd like to, now in hindsight, look at myself, I'd like to see a little bit more head movement. There's some, but I'm a big fan of just move your head ever so slightly, constantly moving the head. Thinking the best analogy I always heard that I like to utilize is thinking there is a sniper that has their crosshairs on your forehead. You just want to be able to move the crosshairs just a little bit. Just get a little bit of movement. And again, tap, hard body shots. And then that just, again, pays dividends and sets up bigger shots, whether it's just boxing or we're doing Thai style, Dutch style, kickboxing style. Look, there you go. That was a little bit more ripping, rolling, moving, playing with the range control too. It's also knowing like what tools and weapons to use at different ranges. So here I'm having my jab, my cross a little bit shorter because I'm trying to set up the body shot here. So it's not full extension jab crosses, which most people might see from a technical standpoint. I'm like, you're cutting them short. It's like, it's actually a reason. I'm trying to get them to read and bring their hands up so I can rip the body. And now I'm starting to work in some checks here. Honestly, my hips have been really bothering me lately, so I don't throw a lot of kicks. But I will check and I'll just throw heavy hands in here, starting to pick up the speed. Every once in a while, I like to just throw those speed rounds, working the body, bringing it back up to the head, especially as I'm starting to feel a little bit looser, feeling good. What I like to do here is I'll do like 2, then 3, then 4, then 5, then 6, then 7, then 8, then 9, then 10. So it'll be progressively building punch outs and then work my way down the pyramid too. So it'll go from 9 to 8 to 7 all the way back down, working slips and rips as well. So again, light, touch, just feeling range, bam, go. And being able to finish on that strong note, notice again, head movement, constantly moving my head. So I'm not just leaving my head there, I'm moving or covering, I should say, ideally both. And then the thing I'll pay attention to is, again, I'm switching my feet, but I'm noticing and looking at myself here. And this is partially, I'm doing this to break my own technique down and share with you guys, but like still a little heavy on my legs. So now I notice that and I'm like, look, let me pull that lead leg back. That's a nice trick I got from, shout out to my coach, Tony Flores up in New York, the Flores brothers, Tito and Tony. I believe Tony got that from, I want to say Rob Kamen at a Dutch style kickboxing seminar, where it's like you getting heavy on that lead leg a little bit. They're going to try and get that inside or outside low kick, pull that leg back, make them miss, and then make them pay with a chopping low kick or a hard body shot off of it with that kick. It's a nice like Olay style. And here I'm just, again, focusing on a little bit of speed, getting them out, and then just getting some movement. And that'll also help with just building up from a conditioning standpoint. When you work like speed into your rounds as well, going for like 20 to 30 second blocks of like hard speed and then power, and then taking 30 seconds off and going light head movement, a little bit lighter pace, just touching and moving. That is a nice progressive conditioning drill that I've done in the past that I always find effective. I love doing my fighters. Now here I'm just playing with like their kicking. Now I'm doing visualization. Again, trying to play with the reads, being able to not only check, but we're working some catches here. So we're getting our underhook catch, Olay, boom, getting the underhook, the overhook into maybe a swim by, into a counter. I love that too because it uses the momentum away from or against them. So you can swing it and then counter them with it really nicely. And again, working a little bit of movement. Still kind of heavy on that front foot, so I'm probably going to either have to check here soon or just have to like Olay it. I'm getting a little bit lighter now throwing those punches, but yeah, that inside leg is susceptible. So because I'm not there he goes. There's the check. Good. I started to feel it. I'm kind of like yelling at myself here, like, watch those hips. Yeah, that's also fun to do. Just make them miss, then make them pay. Just, you don't want to make them miss too big either. That's one of the things I've learned as I've gotten more experience. Make them miss just barely, and that's where they're most susceptible to the counters for knockout finishes. So hopefully this was helpful for you guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, if you did, you haven't, please make sure you're liking, subscribing. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you want to see as well. And voila.